Footsteps, chapter 113. In Zechariah 6, verse 13, we read, "He shall bear the glory and shall sit and rule upon his throne, and he shall be a priest upon his throne, and the counsel of peace shall be between them both." In what way can this verse be applied to our leader? How can we prove this counsel of peace results from the fact that she sat upon the spiritual or mental throne, both as a king and a priest, thus exemplifying Revelation 1, verse 6, which indicates that the Christ teaching hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. A king is one who rules or dominates, whereas a priest is one who has knowledge of and communion with God. Therefore, spiritual kingship applies to the uncovering and destruction of evil, and the priesthood represents bringing to earth the true understanding of God. Only through such a dual mission can peace come. This exemplifies why Mrs. Eddy represents the completion of revelation through her teaching and unfoldment of animal magnetism, and the destruction of it by its reduction to nothingness. Jesus was preeminently the high priest of God. His doctrine did not extend, however, to a specific unfoldment of the subtleties of error, because mankind was not yet ready for this. It remained for Mrs. Eddy to disclose that part of revelation that would make it complete, thus marking the coming of that peace where man is able to progress through science instead of suffering. The Master really provided humanity with a life preserver, whereas Mrs. Eddy instructed it how to swim. Had Jesus inaugurated this latter revelation, the world could not have accepted it, because it is impossible to teach a drowning man to swim, his mind being so fearful that he cannot understand any of your instructions. First, he must be thrown a life preserver and pulled to safety before his fear disappears sufficiently for him to have confidence in what you tell him. Hence, it can be seen that the only possible peace that man can have results from the linking of Mrs. Eddy's revelation with the Master's teaching, uniting the spiritual dominion over error, which must accompany man's reflection of the divine mind, with the right understanding of God, which includes the knowledge of man's oneness with and relationship to Spirit. When a common soldier is given the banner to carry, he is exalted to the rank of standard bearer, a position of definite honor. What his previous education and social position have been make no difference. He is now a distinguished personage. Similarly, when man reflects the Spirit of God, he is always elevated to a position of importance. The Christ is the ruler and the priest. Therefore, when man embodies and reflects the Christ, he discloses the understanding and demonstration which unfolds the claims of animal magnetism, destroying them by perceiving their nothingness, and presents the process by which every man may enter into the heart of God and receive the demonstration of wisdom and inspiration for himself. Thus, when Mrs. Eddy told us to follow her only as she followed Christ, she intended us to follow and exalt her only because and when she carried this banner of wisdom and love. Furthermore, she desired us to realize that if found worthy through right preparation, we could also carry it. In Zechariah 6, verse 11, it speaks of the silver and gold to be made into crowns. No doubt the silver was a counterpart of the lesser light of the first chapter of Genesis, which is to be thrown on error, and the gold a counterpart of the greater light, which would unfold God, one being a temporary necessity, and the other an eternal dispensation. From this we conclude that the gold alone is everlasting, since whatever man has learned of the operation of evil in order to understand its claims and destroy them, must finally be eliminated, and the knowledge of good alone remain. This is the gold, since gold is a symbol of that which is most precious and permanent to man.